Hello, ma'am. I am Sai Nagastri. I am an 8th grader from Z.P.H.S school, Ilavaram. Now, I would like to pose a question. Can I?
Yes.
Yes.
What are the career opportunities to learn music in the U.S.A?
Yes.
So here, a lot of our students will learn an instrument and they don't go on to make a career out of it. But if they do, they can be music teachers like Eric and I. They can be professional musicians where they perform in a lot of different types of music. They can do classical music or even be popular music. They can also work behind the scenes where they're working with the technology and are the ones that are putting the music together.
I enjoy, as a music teacher, we both teach bands, school bands. Sometimes what I will do is when I'm not at work at school as a teacher, I will play in bands up on a stage, which is a lot of fun. I enjoy that, and I get paid a little extra money to play music for 3 hours to groups.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing very good. Thank you. How are you?
I am fine, sir. This is Husniya, a 6th grader. Can I ask you a question?
Yes, please.
Why is music education important in schools?
Yes. That's a very good question. And I personally think that it's important for students here in the United States to have kind of varied things that they can do. A lot of people have different interests. Some people like to play music. Some people like to do stuff in science or math, or some people like to fix cars. We all kind of have our own things that we enjoy. And I think that this gives us another chance to find something that's good for individuals. It gives us a chance to express ourselves emotionally through music. And for me personally, it was a way for me to feel like I fit in with a group of people. It's just what I liked to do when I was in middle school in 8th grade. And I think it gives everybody kind of a place that they belong, that they feel like they belong.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Jen, would you like to share something?
I would just agree with what he said. And I think it's important because music is something that everybody enjoys. I don't know that I've ever met somebody who doesn't listen to music. So it gives students an opportunity to explore their passions.
Absolutely. Sindhu, over to you. Sindhu.
Yes, sir. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
My name is Sindhu. I am a 6th grader. I would like to ask a question, ma'am. Can I ask?
Yes, go ahead.
What is your wife's favorite music instrument? Could you please play for us?
Oh, my favorite instrument is probably the clarinet. I played it as a major in school. It's actually what I majored in, and my clarinet's in the other room, but I can grab it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Get a little tour of my school.
Yes.
So this is the clarinet. It has a little, usually it's wood, but it's made of plastic, the one I'm using right now. Reed, and it vibrates to make a sound.
And I think it's so loud that we can't hear it.
Is it so loud?
Well, it's so loud that it's cutting out and we can't hear anything.
Oh, okay. Is that better?
Yeah, we could hear that, yes.
You could hear that? Okay. If I were to play a song, it would probably do the whole too loud.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
Hello, good evening.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good
Go
evening,
ahead.
ma'am.
Go ahead and ask the question.
This is Subramanya Srinivas, a 7th grade student. I would like to ask a question. Can I ask, sir?
Yes.
What are the educational implications of music?
That's a good question. And I know that we've been talking about how we have music in our schools here in the United States, and that there are schools that do not have music. We actually require it in the United States. Every school has to have music, which means that every student is learning about it. And I think that that is great. As we talked earlier, I'm going to expand upon that a little bit, because we all hear music all around us all the time. I go to a store, I hear music. I'm in my car, I hear music. But I think that having music lessons in school helps us to understand better how the music was written. It helps us to understand how to participate in it a little better. And I think it makes us feel a little closer, more connected to the music. And it also is an outlet for creativity. So I think those are the implications for students here in the United States.
Okay, thank you. Jen, do you have any insights into this question?
I think Eric answered it very well. He is the one who usually does all of the speaking engagements, so he can answer things pretty well. I think that again, just for students, it's allowing them to explore how to participate is the best thing.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Hello, sir.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah, go ahead and ask the question.
What kind of technology do you use to teach music in your classroom?
You know, I use a couple of different things in my classroom. I have music on my phone, and it's connected to speakers. So I can make the music go from my phone to my speakers anytime I want the kids to hear it. I also have a computer here. We have programs on our computer that the kids can play music to the computer, and it tells them if they're playing it right or not. And I use this thing right here, which is basically a big TV that is touchscreen. And I'll show you what I do with it. It's got places where I can write music notes on it, and I can show the kids music up here on the screen sometimes too.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
My name is Lohita Girija. I am a 9th grader. Would you allow me to ask a question?
Yes.
Yes.
Did you face any disruptive situations when teaching students in your music career, and how did you handle that?
Good question. Jenna, would you like to answer that one?
Yes, I can. So most of the time in the United States, the classes that my husband and I teach are classes that students choose to participate in. So we don't have a lot of disruptive situations because from the students, at least, because they are choosing to be there. It's not something that they're forced to do. So the majority of students really enjoy what they're doing. A lot of times, if there's a situation that's disruptive, it's usually from an outside source. During the school day, there's lots of things that happen that disrupts class, but are not necessarily negative things. Like we might have announcements or meetings that happen with our students. Does that answer the question well?
Yes, yes.
Eric, what'd you say? Okay.
Yeah, and I'll add to that. We both teach band, so the kids pretty well always have one of these in their mouth all the time, which means they can't talk. So I just keep them playing as much as I can, and then I don't have any issues, any problems.
Yes. So maybe the academic teachers might have the disruptive students nuisance, or maybe, but not in your case, I think, because they love the music so much. If they opt the music as an elective, I think they love it so much.
You are correct. There are classrooms where behavior is a problem, and then to answer that, then what usually ends up happening is the kid gets in trouble. They have to go to like a lunch detention, which means they have to eat separate from everybody else, or they have to come in after school or on the weekend. Luckily, we don't deal with that because the kids that we have are being good.
What is the effects of music on learning and behavior?
Okay, what are the effects of music on learning and behavior? They have done studies on this in the United States, and they claim that studying music makes a person smarter. Now, I don't know if that is true or not, but I do know that it does increase the ability to focus, and it really does instill this notion of getting everything perfectly, because whenever you play in a band with 60 people in it, you have to get every note perfect and every rhythm perfect to sound good. And I do think that, well, I will say this, that we have kids who volunteer to be in our class, but we usually get the kids who are test the highest and usually get the best grades and have the best behavior. So maybe there is something to that, to where music does help a person to do better in their other classes.
Mm-hmm. They've done studies too that shows that students who participate in music have higher reading scores. Mm-hmm. So some schools, whenever they want to increase their reading scores, they will have their students do more music time. So there really is some kind of correlation somewhere for intelligence and music.
Hello.
Hello, sir. Hello, ma'am. My name is Sahiti. I'm an 8th grader from Z.P.H. school, Ilavaram. I'm feeling glad to interact with you, sir. Sir, may I pose you a question?
Yes, please.
What is your favorite musical instrument? Could you please for us?
So my favorite instrument is the saxophone. And whenever I first started learning, when I was in 6th grade, when I was 11 years old, I started on the saxophone. I'm guessing you're probably not going to be able to hear it because I know whenever Jenna played, I couldn't hear anything. So I'm going to play something really, really quietly, and hopefully it'll come through.
Please.
And stop me if you can't hear it.
I am a grader. Can I ask one question, sir?
Yes, please.
What made you to become a music teacher?
So I'm gonna answer this kind of shortly because I want Jenna to be able to talk about it too. So we both have a chance to talk. But I was very shy when I was 11 years old. I was very quiet. I didn't talk a lot to people, and actually it was kind of difficult for me to talk to people. Music was very fun for me because it was a way that I could sit in a large group of about 60 people, and I could make a lot of noise. Now, it wasn't with my voice, it was with my sound of my saxophone. And I kind of felt like I had a connection, like I was having a conversation with people. And I liked that. I liked the feeling of being able to participate without talking, but still being part of the group. And I've just always enjoyed that so much that I decided that that's what I wanted to do with my life. I'm still a shy person. I still don't talk a lot in public, but I like to make a lot of music in public. It's my way of expressing myself.
Yes.
For me, I've known since I was like 8 or 9 that I wanted to be a teacher. I loved school and I wanted to be a teacher because teachers were my favorite people in the world. Once I started playing an instrument, I realized that it was something that made me feel like I belonged. And the students that I had class with, my music classes, felt like a family. So whenever I was deciding what I wanted to do as a career, I knew I couldn't go a day in my life without music. And I knew I wanted to make other people feel that same way. So I chose to be a music teacher so I could do all of the things that I love at once.
And hello, ma'am. This is Z.P.H.S, a 7th grader. Can I ask one question, ma'am?
Yes.
How many students attend your music class? How many classes do you take per day?
I have been in my position for only a couple years and my program is building. We have about 60 students total in all of my classes, and I teach 5 classes a day. I teach band, guitar and ukulele, a music appreciation class where we just talk about music, and a drama class. And I have multiple classes of each one.
Okay. What about it?
About 100 to 140 kids per every year. This year's a little smaller because of the pandemic, because of COVID. And I'll do about 14 classes a day, except there will be 3 of them that are really big, and there will be about 50 to 60 kids in at once. And the rest of them, it's just me and one other student for about 30 minutes, which is really nice. So I get to know my students and I get to teach them individually on their instrument. And that's all I do all day. I teach instruments all day. I really like it.
Yes. So have you experienced it? That means in so far in your career, any student who has left your school and came back with a music, I think though he learned a music from you and he left the school and he came to the school again after a few years and he introduced himself as your student and he also revealed that he has settled in a life in his life as a musician. So have you had such experience?
Yes. A couple of years ago, I had a kid come back in. I didn't even recognize him. It had been 15 years, but he came in and told me who he was. Oh yeah, I remember you. And he says, I'm getting a doctorate in trumpet performance. I'm a professional trumpet player. So that's always fun. I've had several who have come back and said that they're teachers. I actually, quick story, I had one who wasn't going to even be in band, and I had a clarinet that I was going to give to somebody, and I just happened to be standing next to him. He was 11, and I said, "Does anybody want this clarinet?" And he was right there. He said, "Yeah, I'll take it." He has gone on to now be a teacher, and he is going to be teaching with Jenna next year.
That's amazing. That's really amazing. Yeah. So, Jenna, do you have any experience, similar experience like Eric had in his career?
Yeah, so I've not taught as long as Eric, and most of my teaching previously has been elementary school. So most of my students are just now getting to the point where they are leaving public school. But I do have I have one student who has graduated public school and is going to school to be a music educator. So I've had that experience with one student.
Okay, I have a question. In fact, most of my students have asked it. So, do you have any a specific syllabus in music to be taught to your students? That means in our academic subjects, we have a specific syllabus and we need to follow the syllabus throughout the year. So, do you have such a specific syllabus to be strictly followed throughout your academic period, academic year?
Go ahead, Jenna.
So for most of our performance classes where we are teaching students instruments, we don't have, at least for me, I don't have a specific syllabus that I follow. We are usually preparing for performances. So throughout the year, we will have concerts, go to parades that we follow. But since I teach more than just band, I do have some classes where I have it mapped out week to week what they need to learn. But it's not super strict here. We have guidance from our state and our national organizations on topics that students should know and when they should learn them, like what age they should be learning them on. But it's really flexible and up to the teacher on how they want to go about teaching that.
Okay, thank you. And do you have any professional development sessions, orientation sessions, in order to upgrade your professional skills in music? That means if there is any latest innovative methods to teach the students in the area of music, do you have such a orientation classes from time to time?
We do. We're not required to take them. I actually present some of them because I have written a book on teaching music, so I sometimes will talk about that method. But our schools are really good about letting us travel wherever we want to. I in particular, and Jenna has too. Sometimes we will drive 5 or 6 hours away just to go to a convention where they spend 3 or 4 days meeting with one of them meets with 30,000 band directors from all over the world, and we'll go there and we will listen to different presentations and learn some different ways to teach.
Okay. And the students at the end of the year, at the end of the academic year, do students all need to perform well to get the certificates in music?
Jenna?
So my view on music education is that students need to work at their own pace. So the answer is yes, but the definition of well for each student is different.
Yes.
So one student might be performing really hard music, and that is what the expectation I have for them. Whereas some other students might be playing something easier because that is where they are at and they need to play that well before they can move on.
Yes. So in my observation during the 45 days stay in Arkansas University, so what I observed, and I visited a few schools, middle schools. So most of the students, they like to come to school just for the sake of electives. So that means cookery classes, music classes, agricultural classes, even information and technology classes. And I interviewed a few students that what exactly the interest that made you come to school every day. That means they told me that because of this elective system, I come to school every day. So unfortunately, we don't have this elective system in India, but I wish we could have this system. But you, as a teacher belonging to the elective subjects, so what do you say about the interest of the students that come to school just purely because of the elective system, electives? And so, in one word, I can say that these students, they are opting their, that means they're choosing their professions at the tender age of school year. And whereas in India, after completion of graduation, after completion of post-graduation, only they are choosing their careers. But whereas in your country, they are choosing their careers even at the age of 15, 16, 17, and 18. So could you please tell us something about that elective system? I mean,
You're correct in everything you said. I told you earlier that I decided I was going to be a band director when I was 11 and I was in 6th grade. And because of that, I then took all the way from 6th grade through 12th grade, all kinds of music classes. Now I was electing to be in them because that's what I wanted to do. And in high school, which is 9th through 12th grade, the last 4 years of school, you get to pretty well choose what classes you want. Now you have to take math, you have to take science, you have to take English, writing, but then you can choose what you want. You can take acting, you can take auto mechanics, you could take computer classes. I chose to take a lot of music classes, and that helped prepare me for the career that I knew I was going to have. And you are correct, there are a lot of students who say that the only reason that they come is so they can be in our classes. There are students who kind of don't feel safe anywhere else in the school around others, but they find the people that they like to be around. I'll say that Jenna is really good about that. Jenna, my wife, has a lot of kids who just really like to be to school because of her, and they feel safe around her, and they feel like they can talk to her about music and what's going on in their lives, and it's just a safe place for them, and they enjoy it. And I think that's great because that gets them coming to school and staying in school and graduating.
yes. So I'm going to ask my last question. Among these electives, which elective is being selected by a student individually in almost all the schools in United States of America, and especially in your school? So which elective is most sought after? So I'm curious to know this answer.
We live in a very rural area. So a lot of countryside. And I'd say in my school, a lot of the electives that are being chosen by students are agriculture classes. So they have to take science classes like biology, but a lot of students choose to take horticulture, ag mechanics, those classes where they're going to go straight to a workforce. and work in agriculture for their life.
Okay, thank you. So says later Gina can give her message to my students.
Yes. First of all, I want to say thank you for taking your time. I know it's evening for you. So you're taking time out of your time from home to listen to us. I've known your teacher for 3 or 4 years now and got to visit him in the United States. You have a fantastic teacher. It's not very often that you will get teachers that will expose you to the rest of the world like yours does. So you've got somebody special there. And I think it's great that you all speak English so well. We can understand you. I think that's a very important skill. And continue to do that, because I think that's going to take you very far in life. That'll help you to open doors to any kind of career that you'd want to go into in the future.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your kind words. Okay, next, Gina.
Yes, I want to thank you also for taking time out of your evening, because I know how difficult it is to do things outside of the school day. And again, I want to agree with my husband that you guys have a fantastic teacher, and that it's really awesome and really rare that he's allowing you guys to have these meetings with people all over the world. And I think it's awesome for us to be able to meet with you guys and to speak with every one of you. This is going to be something that I cherish to have this experience with you.